Hey all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and today I'm bringing you a quick overview of the brand new Marvel Legends Avengers West Coast box set from Hasbro. Now this is being sold as an Amazon exclusive, and Amazon just recently moved up the release date on this one and has started to ship it out to folks. I just got mine today, so I thought I would just go on and share some quick thoughts. So this isn't really a full-on review, but I will give you some comparisons of the older figures that these are kind of updates on, and again just share my general thoughts about the figures in this set. So you can see in front of me here, I've got the figures from the box set, along with a few of the additional West Coast Avengers. I've got Hawkeye, which is not part of the box set, and US Agent, and Wonder Man back there. Those are not part of this box set. But we did get updated versions of the Silver Centurion Iron Man, Tigra. We finally got our classic Mockingbird, and then we also got Hank Pym in his jumpsuit that he wore primarily when he was with the West Coast Avengers, and then we also got a new Spider-Woman figure. Okay, so let's start off taking a look at the new Mockingbird figure. This is probably the primary figure people are going to be wanting to get this box set for, to round out the original team of West Coast Avengers. Again, we've had a modern Mockingbird figure from Hasbro, but this is our first time we are getting classic Mockingbird, which is definitely, I think, the preferred version for this character. As far as accessories go, you get a pair of grip hands, and then you get a karate chop hand and a closed fist hand, and then you also get her little staff thing that can be broken in two. You get the smaller pieces, and then you also get a long staff. So technically you can put these together if you want to, but again, you don't really need to because they've actually given you the full-on staff. So, and it comes out of the packaging fairly straight, the staff does, which is good. And you know, I'm not really going to go over the packaging for the set, but you get the, you know, that box. It is a windowless box, and you've got the artwork and everything on it. But again, going back to Mockingbird, so you only get one head sculpt with this figure. The mask is done with a soft rubber type material, so you don't have to worry about it breaking or anything. The hair is done, so it's kind of flowing. You know, overall looks pretty good. You do have, you've got this piece that comes out, so it looks kind of funny in some poses, but you know, that is kind of how the outfit was. And then she does have the single hinged elbow, so they only gave her the single hinged elbows. And then she does have the pinless knees, so you do get the double hinged knees. Overall, you know, this is not a bad figure. This is probably the best figure in the line. Now, depending on how you turn the legs, you do see those crotch joints, so, you know, because she's not wearing any pants or anything, so that can kind of stick out. But again, out of the figures in this set, this is probably my favorite figure. And again, being this is the first time we've gotten classic Mockingbird, a very important member of the West Coast Avengers, this is probably the figure most, you know, worth getting. Now, the figure does have a hole in the back, which there's not really any need for that. I'm assuming this upper torso is from a previous figure. So you do have the hole in the back, and then the boots and everything. Paint applications are pretty solid. I did have to take a hairdryer to loosen up these ankle joints because they were very tight, and the joints themselves are somewhat rubbery, so just be careful with that. But once I heated them up with the hairdryer, they started moving around without any problem. Okay, next up we've got Hank Pym. So this is the first time we've ever gotten Hank Pym in this red jumpsuit, which again he primarily wore when he was with the West Coast Avengers. He had kind of retired from the superhero biz, and he didn't want to resume, you know, being Ant-Man or Giant Man or Yellow Jacket, and so he was just good old Hank Pym, and he'd wear this jumpsuit, which he would keep things like you've got the pockets that are sculpted here. I feel like the suit had more pockets. Like, I think there should be pockets here on the pants as well, because he would keep like things in his pockets that he would like pull out and then use his Pym particles to you know, increase in size. So that was kind of his gimmick. So I feel like they've kind of shorted us on some pockets. But otherwise, the figure looks pretty good. Head sculpt looks pretty good. He's got the blonde hair. You could probably use this as a Steve Rogers head sculpt if you wanted as well, but they did, this is pretty true to how he appeared. In the comics, he's got the black t-shirt underneath the jacket, he's got the belt, he's got the black boots. So again, first time we're getting this version, he does have the double hinged elbows, and he has the double hinged knees, no pins on this one. So, not a bad figure, and again, kind of it's not one that I think people think of a lot of times when they think of Hank Pym. They think of Ant-Man or even Giant Man or what have you, but I always really kind of think of this version of Hank Pym when I think of the character, because I always remember him most from West Coast Avengers. Now, as far as a comparison goes, I'll just show you this Giant Man figure that Hasbro's done previously. So you can see that the Hank Pym has actually got a decent size to it. It's taller than that Giant Man. So, but I think he fits well with the other West Coast Avenger team members. Okay, next up we've got Tigra. So Tigra is essentially a reissue of a figure that we just got recently. There are some differences, but the biggest difference between the previous Tigra, this is actually the third Tigra that we've gotten from Hasbro, but the first Tigra they did years ago, which is a totally different figure. But this one is primarily the same one that we just got recently, but you can see how they've toned down the orange skin tone. This first one they did, the skin tone was just way too orange. I don't know what happened there, but it was definitely not comic book accurate. So the skin tone on this new figure is definitely much more comic accurate. I like this head sculpt that you get, which is, different from this one. Now, you also, with this figure, get the kind of more, angry head sculpt as well. And you also, you get the claw hands, and then you get just a pair of closed-fisted hands with this one. So, but again, the biggest thing about this one that people probably will want to get, just because even if they have the last one that Hasbro did, is just because the skin tone is much more accurate. Now, she has the tail in the back, just like on the previous figure. That does, it rotates. It does pop off if you want to. So just be wary of that. It's not really supposed to pop off, but it just plugs into her butt. So, but again, same figure other than the skin tone. And then, like I said, you get this head sculpt here, which I actually think looks pretty good. This is probably my favorite Tigra head sculpt that they've done so far. Okay, now we've got Silver Centurion Iron Man. So Hasbro previously did this as a Walgreens exclusive. It is primarily the same figure. The differences is instead of metallic silver on the legs and arms, they've done a white paint, which I do think actually makes it a little more comic book accurate. You also get white on the faceplate as opposed to metallic silver. They've blacked out the eyes. You could see the eyeballs on the Walgreens exclusive version, which I'll just bring up here so you can see. So I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but you can actually see his eye pupils in the helmet of the Walgreens one, whereas on the on this one it's blacked out. And I actually prefer the blacked out look better than actually being able to see his eyes. Now, the only other difference really with this figure is these shoulder pads. They do extend out a teeny bit more than the Walgreens exclusive. So that makes it a little more comic book accurate. I don't think it's still not 100% accurate. These should be, out more. And if you're wondering, the Diamond Select toy Silver Centurion Iron Man still wins hands down over the Hasbro ones, is looking far more accurate and just a better overall looking figure than what Hasbro gave us for Marvel Legends. Again, this is the Marvel Select one, so it's 7-inch scale. It is taller and probably doesn't really work that well with the Marvel Legends, but it's still just overall a better looking figure. Okay, and then finally we have Spider-Woman. So Spider-Woman, my biggest complaint with this is I don't know what happened here, but you can see this black on the lower leg below the thigh is more of a shiny black, and then it's more of a matte black from the thigh upward. So it definitely, that stands out on the figure, the different blacks. I don't know, it's probably a factory error or something, but again, that's definitely something that stands out. I do like the head sculpt better on this new figure over the previous one that we got, and if you want to use this body, if you don't like that different black tone on the legs, and you want to use this body, the heads are interchangeable. Same thing with the hands. You do not get this web shooting effect like you did on this previous one that was released in the Spider-Man wave. You can see the spider symbols. I mean, it's a totally different body. So this one is actually, I'm gonna say maybe a little more busty, but I don't know. They're probably pretty close. But you do things you get like you do get double jointed elbows with this one, and there's no pins. And same thing with the knees, so you do get the pinless technology. You only had the single hinged elbows on this older figure, so that's a nice update. Again, really my only complaint with this one is just this paint blemish where you've got the shinier black on the lower leg and then the matte black throughout the rest of the figure. Okay, so overall this isn't too bad of a set, especially if you don't have the previous figures, the Silver Centurion Iron Man, the Tiger, and the Spider-Woman. If these are the first time that you're getting these figures, this is definitely a really solid set. I do like the new classic Mockingbird and Hank Pym figures, but being I did have the other three already, I mean, again, improvements overall with the Tigra and the Iron Man, and even with the Spider-Woman, though again, the paint blemish with the different colors of black on the leg is disappointing. But it's also just a little annoying that, you know, the orange on the previous Tiger that Hasbro did, that was really, you know, totally unacceptable. That should have never come out. It should have been like this figure. So it's like, you know, we have to pay extra for Hasbro's own mistakes, which is kind of annoying. But again, if you don't have those previous figures, it's a solid set overall. If you're a fan of the West Coast Avengers, again, it's a pretty solid set. And I'm happy for the most part with these figures. Now, again, this is an Amazon exclusive, and it is starting to ship now, and last time I checked, it was still available online. And I have a full image gallery of these figures over at Marvelous News. I'll put a link to that in the video description below if you want to check those out. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great!